Hello everyone. Hi! I'm so excited to have you here. Oh, this is so exciting for me, especially because this time last year I was at the other end of this phone looking for resources on how to start my application process. So if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you want to know how to start your application process. You are definitely looking to further your studies outside the country. We could be USA or let's say Europe, Germany, UK. Well, welcome. I have a script here with me because I want to go straight to the point. Let's see if I can say as much as I can about how to start your application process in 15 minutes. We can try. All right, let's go. Hello. Hi. My name is Olumachi Onoha and I'm a graduate student at the University of Connecticut. All right, so in this video, I'll be offering tips on basically how to start your application process. Definitely because I was in these shoes this time last year, and the tips I'm sharing with you, I found them very useful. All right. Also, I'll be sharing tips on how to strengthen your application. God helping me. So, all right, I've broken this video down to, let's say, 5 steps. And the first step is asking yourself the big questions. How to start? As simple as this sounds, right? As simple as this sounds, it's actually very difficult starting the process. I usually tell my friends and people starting that once you start, you're like halfway through, right? Applying to study abroad can seem like it's a full-time job. It can seem like such a stressful endeavor, but once you start, you're like 50% done with the hard work, right? So there's so many questions to ask yourself in the starting process. It's not just about what do I do, which step do I, how much do I pay, where do I sign up. You have to do some inner work with yourself. So basically you have to ask yourself some practical questions, right? And all right, oh yeah, it's so easy to see like your friends traveling abroad, to see things online on Instagram, and you're like, that's where I want to be there. But you know, it's something that you have to be sure that you're on the right path and you're making the right move and decision based on what is best for you. I hope I'm making sense. All right, so the first step is asking yourself questions that only you can provide answers to. Okay, and the first question is, God, if I'm not stalling you guys. The first question is, do you really want to travel abroad? Oh my God, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Like, is this crazy? Are you mad? Who doesn't want to study abroad? Yes. The reason why, let's just calm down, right? And just the reason why I think it's very important to ask yourself whether or not you want to travel abroad is because everybody is at different phases in their lives, right? So relax. Let me land. All right, some people are in different phases of their lives. Some people have like a really good career where they currently are, whatever country you are. You could be in Nigeria, for example. I'm Nigerian, and you have like a blossoming career. So it's something to ask yourself, like, are you really ready to let go of everything and what you have built so far? I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm saying you should ask yourself that question. You shouldn't run away from it. You shouldn't say, okay, because it works for Mr. A, it's going to work for me, or that is the script I should follow. You should make sure you ask yourself these questions, right? So you want to make sure that whatever decision you make, you're making those choices based on what is best for you, right? What is best for you, not what people are projecting towards you, not what you heard is better, but what, like, you've actually sat down, calculated the risk, and said, okay, this is the best choice for me. All right, so the next question, and we're still in step 1, right? The next question to ask yourself is, what do you really want to study? Because nowadays, like, there's so many, like, the world is changing in so many directions. You see many people going towards, say, data science, say business management. for your further studies, say your master's or your PhD, you might want to diversify, go to something different. I'm not saying you should, I'm saying it's something that you might be thinking of. So before you start this process, it's important that you have a serious conversation with yourself and look at like all the possible scenarios. Say you're furthering in what you studied in your undergrad, or you're going to a different career, or you're going for an MBA. It's important that you ask yourself these questions because it will determine what direction you go towards, right? What do you want to study, and then why do you want to study this? I say this because this time last year, I reached out to my friend Evelyn. She was studying in Germany. So I asked her like, hey babe, what's up? Like, how are you doing? How's it over there? Germany was like my dream country. Before I applied to the US, I first tried Germany because I was obsessed with Europe and Germany. So I reached out to her, and I remember her telling me this. I asked her like, is there any advice or any tip you would want to share with me? And she said, Oloma, one thing I will tell you is that it's very important that you understand why. Because even when you start your journey, there are so many things that will test you. There are so many things that you see that, would probably break you or hurt you. And if you don't have a concrete reason why, like you would lose it, you would lose yourself. So it's always important that you define why you're like taking the decision you're taking, because that why would always be your anchor, would always direct you, would always remind you like, okay, like when you stray too far, your reason, your why would always make sense to you, always bring you back. So yeah, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because just ask yourself why. Everybody has different reasons, and all those reasons are very important, very valid reasons. So the next question to ask yourself is, what country do I want to go to? Like I said, before I tried to the US, I tried Germany. So you might be wanting to go to, say, Europe. You might want to go to the UK, Canada, Germany, Ukraine, India, Pakistan. They're all good countries to go to. They all have good educational system. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what country do I feel would serve me more, right, for my studies? It's a very important question, and most times I tell people like, if you can go with so more options, that's fine. Like if you can take it upon yourself to apply 2 ways, like to schools in different countries, that is also good. Some people might find out that when they start, they will just get tired and just say, okay, let me just stick to one part. So if you don't think you can carry too much, it's important that you define like the plan, what direction, what requirements you would need to fulfill, because the country that you're applying to also determines the requirement that you'll be asked to submit in your application process. All right. So I think we have successfully concluded the big question number 1, how to start. So now let's dive in. You have done the major part. You have asked yourself all these questions. You have asked, is this what I want? Is this what is best for the phase I'm at in my life? Right. Step 2. Now, step 2 depends on where you want to go to, right? Because your application requirement is also very much dependent on the country you're applying to and the school that you're applying to. So notwithstanding, the necessary documents that you'll be needing is, you need to get your international passport, you need to get your transcript ready, you need to contact your referees, and then you need to satisfy some requirements like GRE, TOEFL, or basically English requirements. So depending on what country you're going to, if you're going to a country in Europe, they would most likely prefer IELTS, according to my friend, IELTS. The USA would most likely prefer TOEFL, right? For me, I did TOEFL because I know I was applying to majority schools in the US. I also know that some schools in the UK accept TOEFL. So I won't say it's a safer choice than IELTS. You can do your personal research, but for me, I just decided to go with TOEFL. I know there are also other English proficiency tests. There is Duolingo and the rest, but I think IELTS and TOEFL are the 2 major proficiency test. So now let's break this down. Let's talk about the required documents you need to start your application process. So applying to a school, okay, yeah, so let's just dive in, right? Your international passport. It's important that you have an international passport that is not expiring anytime soon. Say give yourself like 2 years gap. So if your international passport is expiring in less than a year, in less than 2 years, you should consider, say, renewing it. But you do not necessarily need an international passport before you start the application process. Along the line, because the application process can take up to like say 6 months. So within that 6 months, anytime in those 6 months, you can actually get your international passport. So don't use that as an excuse to hold yourself back. What you should be working on like immediately, first things first, your transcript and your CV. Because during the application process, depending on your school, you'll be sending your CVs out and you'll be sending your transcript. Your transcript, I think people majorly get it from their school, right? And for application process, I would encourage that you get a personal copy of your transcript. For my school, because I had my undergraduate studies at University of Nigeria in Nsukka, I think I applied for the official copy, which was sent to an official email. And the official copy has the stamp and signature of the registrar. So it depends on your school. I know some schools, their unofficial copies do not have the stamp and signature. So I would prefer, or I would advise that you get the transcript that has the stamp and signature of the registrar, because then it makes it look more authentic, right? So it's important to apply for your transcript on time. I know many schools have been known to delay transcript processing, so apply for it as soon as possible. Then you need to start reaching out to your lecturers, people that know you where you're in school, to possibly be referees for you. So for me, when I graduated, I kept in touch with my lecturers, so it wasn't too difficult for me when I needed referees. I just had to like let them know ahead of time, months before the application process started. You let them know that you'd be needing their help during that period. So I reached out to them. I told them, please, I'm applying to schools. Do I have your permission to add you as a referee during my application? And I got yes from most of them. So that's how you secure your referee. Then if you would want to take exams, because I know as of 2020, many schools were waiving GRE for some courses. So it's something to consider. If you're considering writing GRE, it will be easy for you. It will be better for you to start on time, to start preparing for it, registering for your GRE on time. And TOEFL, right? I know now some schools still waive TOEFL. So it's a risk that, depending on the schools you want to apply to, I would advise that you just take the TOEFL exam, so you don't have to necessarily limit the schools that you apply to. But GRE, I know it's about, I don't know how much it is now, but it's like kind of, so just, check it. Me, I did not take the GRE, so I intentionally most likely did not apply to schools that require GRE. And most of the schools I wanted to apply to didn't require GRE, so it was easy for me. So it depends on you and the course you're going for. I know many MBA courses require you to write GRE. So yeah, these are the things you look out for, and that's why it's important to ask yourself questions before you start your process. And also, if you will need your transcript evaluated, I know that people have this hack, because people have their transcripts evaluated by WES, or IEE, right? And most times I've heard stories that say you had a 2-2, but by the time these organizations evaluate your transcripts, you end up with a higher grade. So most times you see people do that to improve their chances of getting admission. Also, your transcript is then more recognized by the school, and then some schools would require you to actually get your transcript evaluated before you send to them. Another tip is, depending on the country you're applying to, if you're applying to Germany, you would need to employ the services of, say, Uni Assist to translate your transcript, to calculate it to the German system and translate it to German, right? So these are the stuff that you put in place before you start your application process. Step 3. we're halfway there, guys. Woo! Halfway there. The school search. All right, so this one is not even as stressful as starting. So if you have started the process, trust me, like it gets easier. It gets easier. You're halfway there. You're doing great. You're gonna do good. All right, so searching for schools. So for me, how I say, I was that period I was actually very active on LinkedIn, so that's how I got to know about most schools. I was following many people on LinkedIn, like Education USA, and they would share their success stories of students that have successfully gained admission. So I would check out their schools, and then most of my friends were traveling out. So once my friends upload it on LinkedIn that they're traveling, I'm like, whoa, congratulations. I check the school out, I go to their department, I check the courses that I might be interested in, and to see like if I can find any supervisor I would be willing to work with. So so for the school search, there is no one size fits all. There's no particular direction, but I would encourage you to be to start spamming your social media with the study abroad options. On Twitter, I would search for study abroad, hashtag study abroad, Education USA, stuff like that. And I don't know, I don't know, like I think it's Twitter algorithm or so. Even till now, like I just find so much posts about studying abroad options, scholarship opportunities on my timeline on Twitter, LinkedIn, I won't say Facebook. So I would encourage you to search for them. And then YouTube, oh my god, I cannot overemphasize YouTube. I was practically living on YouTube. So I would encourage you, search on YouTube. There are so many awesome YouTubers that have actually laid out so much hints. I can name so many. One I would highly recommend is Aladi. Aladi Akko. There's so many other people that I might not know their names. But yeah, YouTube. You should check on YouTube. Check LinkedIn, Twitter, scholarship opportunities, study abroad opportunities, study USA. Those stuff, they help. Can we still make it to 15 minutes? We're trying. Let's get there. Woo! All right. Okay, so now for your school search, a tip that works for me is I created an Excel spreadsheet. So that way I would fill out like any school that I saw, like that I was interested in, I'll fill it out on the Excel spreadsheet, right? So then I would take out time, like, because I was working during this period. So my lunch break, or when I resume in the morning, or late at night when I get home, or like early in the morning before I leave for work, I go to the school website and I check their requirements, I check the application fee, and then I create like different columns for their requirements. If it's something I felt I could fulfill, their GPA requirements, their application fee, how many reference letters they wanted, basically, like, because different schools have different requirements. So I think it's very important to have that Excel spreadsheet, so you can then remove schools that you're not interested in, schools that say you email supervisors and none of them responded, or you could not identify any supervisor that was interested in what you were interested in. So that way you have your first spreadsheet, and by the time you're done populating it, filling all the things you need to know about the schools, you will see that the number of schools that you can apply to are limited. So you open like a new sheet and then transfer those schools there, and with time you keep on seeing more schools, and that would help you to streamline the number of schools and keep in touch like with all the schools you want to apply to. All right, so now emailing supervisors. This is still part of step 3, the school search, because getting a supervisor is very important for study in the USA, right? So if you're applying to study in Germany, UK, Europe, you don't really need to secure a supervisor. I don't think you need to secure a supervisor before applying. So you can just straight up go to the portal, fill out the application requirements, submit it, and that's it. But if you're applying to the US, it's a different ball game. It's mostly encouraged that you secure a supervisor before you send out your application, right? So, like I said, it's important that you study, right? You study the school website, because different schools have different requirements. While I was applying, I applied to several schools, about 5. Some schools, it's not, you don't need to reach out to a supervisor. If you get admitted, then you would eventually get a supervisor, right? And then some schools, for some courses, it's important, it's encouraged for you to get a supervisor before you apply. So before you start, don't say, okay, this person said I should get a supervisor first, so that's why I'm going to get a supervisor first. No. Study, go to the school, type, like, for example, University of Toronto, right? Type it on Google, University of Toronto, Department of Geosciences, University of Toronto. Go through their faculty, click on faculty, look at their staff. Is there anybody here that because there they would write their bio and they will talk about their research interests. So check, does anybody share my research interest? If you find someone that seems to share your research interest, check them out on Google Scholar, check them out on ResearchGate, look at their publication trend. And then, like, if their publication trend seems like things that you are interested in, then, you know, you're halfway there. You just found someone you love to work with, right? So it's left for you to then send him an email. Boy, I don't think we can cover emailing in this video, but it's very important that knowing how to send your email. I think we're going to make another video. So our next video, we'll talk about how to structure your email, how to send out an email to a potential supervisor. All right, so now let's quickly cover up the remaining steps for you, right? The big 4, application. So now let's say you have completed all the steps. You have asked yourself why, you have asked yourself where I want to study, you have decided the schools you want to study to, and you have reached out to supervisors and you have gotten yes from most of the supervisors, and now you want to start applying. How do you go about it? Firstly, you need your documents, right? So you need your CV. Obviously, you should have prepared your CV because you would have sent your CV to your supervisor in the introductory email. We're going to talk about introductory email in the next video, right? So you need your CV, you need your reference letter from 3 to 2 people. It could be 2 from your undergraduate university and then 1 from, say, your workplace. You need an SOP, which stands for Statement of Purpose. I will going to talk about this in the next video. You need your English proficiency exams and GRE. You need your application fee. We're going to talk about application fee and how to go about dodging some application fee, getting application fee waivers. In the next video, you need your transcript, and then you need to be careful to meet your deadlines. All right. So I don't think we got this 50 minutes benchmark, but you know, we tried, right? All right. So now, to end this particular video, right, I would just like to emphasize, because I feel like it's not enough to just list out the steps on paper. It's an internal journey. It's something that you do, and most times it affects your mental health. It affects your mental health. Yeah. I just want to emphasize the importance of not doing it alone. I'm not saying you can't do it alone, but there's this saying: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with family, go with friends. Hey, you get what I'm trying to say? That's what's important, right? Let's not miss the point. The point is, you shouldn't do it alone. You need people around you. I can't say my success story without talking about the number of people that have actually put in work, like that have actually contributed to make this possible. My friends, my family, God. Hey, in no particular order. It wasn't in my order. God comes first. And then family, but my friends, amazing people. In fact, should I? This is a shout out to all my friends. You know yourselves, right? And then to tell you, you need friends. There are times to be secretive, but what is the English? All right. Identify people that are on the same journey as you and link up. That's just it. Because there will be times where you give up. There will be times where you're down. There will be times where you're like, oh, more. Do you know? I don't need this anymore. And it's your friends that will be like, guy, how far? Have your SOP? How far have you submitted? How far have you? So just, there are some things that you would want to keep personal. It's not everything you can share, but at the same time, it's important that you open up, you make connections, you make friends, you share your burden. Don't carry it all by yourself, and then don't take yourself too seriously. You might find out sometimes you might send out 10 emails in a day and nobody will respond to you by the end of the week, and you'll be like, God, did they swear for me? My village people, what is it? What am I doing wrong? Don't take it too seriously. Sometimes it's not you. But at the same time, if you like, always look at, okay, what can I improve? This is not working. What can I do to make it work? Right? Don't, when you fall down, cry, roll on the floor, cry, do whatever you want to do, but pick yourself up. And that's why you need friends, because when you even forget, say, your friends will remind you sometimes. So yeah, and shout out to all my friends. You know yourself. Thank you so much. Oh, and if you have been with me to the end of this video, thank you so much for sticking around. This video is for you. It's something that I promised to do. Like, I was like, God, if I get through to the end of this, I'm going to help other people, kind of. So this is me helping out the way I can. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share to your friends that you think this video can be useful to. And then I hope to make another video where I really break down application requirements and the rest. So thank you so much. Check my 1, 2. Hi, hello. Yeah. Let's start again.
I'm so excited to do this. This is a highly requested video. So, I have a script, and I'm already going off script. I haven't started yet, but yeah, I'm so psyched.
Test the microphone. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe glam up a bit, give a little spice. It's about to be a good YouTube video, y'all. I'm so excited. I'm so psyched. Huh?
Let's get hyped.